Hi everyone, welcome back to Trade Sage. Today we'll discuss the today's Nifty expiry. Today is a great day for option buyers, and as you've seen in today's market, it's a trending day, right? This is a perfect day. In fact, this was the perfect day to make good profits. In fact, I've made more than I've actually doubled my capital, although I trade with small capital because I'm focused on building the product rather than trading per se. But still, I've doubled my capital. So let's see how the market went. So this is today's Nifty chart, and as you could see, it opened and it went up during the initial 1 hour or so. But once it hit this resistance, right, at 24,139, um, it did not recover post that, and after it breached this 200 EMA, this red line is 200 EMA and this green is 20 EMA. As soon as it breached 200 EMA, there is a relentless um, downfall in the market. Okay. Um, if at all you are as an option buyer, you've bought CE and you've thought that market would recover. Today, market did not give any such chance, right? So it's a crazy market, right? Let me also show you some of the trades that I've made. By the way, this is Trade Sage. This is the product that I've built. What this product does is, it has all the data, all the OI data that is necessary for you to take data-driven decision. That's pretty important, right? So in the market, you need to keep control of your emotions. And one way to keep control on your emotions is, relying on data and trusting data. That is very much important. So there is this product called Insights, which have, lots of features related to OI data. I'll briefly explain what these features are as well. Also, there is this trading terminal which I use to trade. Okay, you can buy, you can sell, you can also trail stop loss. Maybe I will one day do a live trading on this trading platform, on this trading terminal. But just to show some of the trades that I've took, right? Again, mine is a pretty small account. I think my capital was around 3,200. I've made 4,088. So it's more than 100% profits. So if you look at some of the trades that I've made, right? I've entered my first trade at 11:53. Okay. So I'll tell you why I entered that trade. Okay. So I've seen this big red candle. I've seen that uh, Nifty is below 200 EMA. So it is turning bearish. Okay. So it is turning bearish. Again, 11:53 and 11:55. Okay. So 11:53. So this is the candle that I've took those trades. And to tell you the reason, if you see the market is around 24.50, 24.16, right? So I was pretty sure that market will breach 24,000, and I was expecting market to go till around 23,975 or 970 and then take a U-turn. Okay, I was expecting bulls would come back because 24,000 being a strong support zone. I was expecting a U-turn. Okay, now I was expecting a reversal, but then I was pretty confident that it would at least breach 24,000 for once and scare uh, you know, all the bulls. Okay, so that's the reason I've entered this trade and I've exited it, like within a few minutes, as soon as this candle went in the direction that I wanted. Okay, as you could see, it went till around, 970 as I expected. So that's when I thought let's exit this trade because I was expecting a reversal for sure. Okay, because there was a good fall, right? There was a good around 150 point fall. So I was expecting a reversal from here. So I exited the trade. Okay. As soon as I exited the trade, the market never gave me an opportunity to enter the trade. What do I mean by that? Okay. So if at all, market obviously fell from here, right? So if at all I've entered the trades anywhere over here, there is a good possibility that market would try to retrace at least to 20 EMA levels and then continue its fall, right? So I was waiting for market to reach till 20 EMA and then enter the put. As soon as market reaches 20 EMA, I wanted to enter. I wanted to buy put trade. Okay, so I waited for this market to reach till 20 EMA. Although the prices or the uh, options that I've entered over here, right? They went like 3 times or 4 times. Okay, but still I've controlled my emotions. I wanted the market to come till 20 EMA and then take the rejection. Okay, because most of the time what happens is you enter the market over here, somewhere over here, expecting market would go further down, but market would reverse and go the opposite direction or might go sideways. Um, and your options would go worthless. Okay, so if you look at the next trade that I've taken, it's at 2:13 p.m., 2:13 and 2:18 p.m. Okay, if you look at that, 2:13, it's over here. Okay, so as you could see, as soon as market touches this 20 EMA, I've entered a trade, and I've also taken one another trade in at 2:18 p.m. Okay, so somewhere over here again at 20 EMA, and I've exited within a couple of minutes again. I think I've also exited within the same trade. As you could see, market actually gave a good momentum over here. Okay, from it was over 23,900 and it came below 23,900. Okay, so that quick 20-point fall, my options almost doubled. Right, so I've entered at 16, I've exited at 30. I've kept target as 30 and I've exited 30, Of course, this 23,900 PE, I think it reached somewhere like 75, 80, somewhere around those lines. But, you know, um, obviously it's not, it did not go from 30 to 80. It went from 30 to 15. And from there, I think it went till 75, 80. Okay. All, all, all what I wanted to say is follow the charts. Let's also look at the data. Okay, let's look at the OI data. If you see from morning, right, at 11:30, if you could see, the put OI is higher than call OI. Again, by the way, this is just change in data. Okay, change in OI data. What this indicates is there is bullishness in the market. Okay, now look at the data at 11:45 to 12. Put OI decreased by 10.5 CR and call OI increased by 4 CR. I think this is the biggest indication that there's gonna be a change in direction from bullish bias to bearish bias. Okay, if at all you were on a you've bought a call option and you were expecting market to go higher, you should immediately exit from your call buy trade as soon as you see this data. Okay, this again, as I said, rely on charts, rely on data. You have to control your emotions looking at the data, and there cannot be any other biggest data proof than this point. Okay, and post that, if you see, there has been a continuous increase in the call OI. Sorry, yeah, continuous increase in call OI, whereas there has been good decrease in the put OI. Okay. Over here, you could observe that the call OI decreased as well. And that's where I got from 11:45 till 3:30 okay, sorry, from 145 till 330. There has been decrease in call OI as well, but the decrease is not that significant considering the difference in put OI versus call OI. 6 CR versus 21 CR. That's a huge gap. Okay. Imagine all these call who are exiting, they are all exiting the market. Okay. They have made enough profits and they're trying to, exit their trades. Okay. So let's look at some other features as well. Unusual OI heat map. Let's look at this. Okay. Was it possible for us to predict where the market was heading? I think looks like yes. Okay. So if you look at what happened at this 11:45, right? There has been an unusual OI detected at 11:45 a.m. in all the call strikes. Okay. This gives a clear indication that markets are becoming bearish. Okay. Even at 12 p.m. as well, there has been a good short covering over here. Sorry, there has been a good short build-up in all the CE strikes. Coming to the PE strikes, right? There was a short build-up. Sorry, I think this is long build-up, but good amount of writing happened at 23,850 PE. Okay, so we got an indication at 12 p.m. itself that market would be ending somewhere between 850 and 900. Okay. So that's a clear indication. And post that as well, I think you have been seeing good amount of writing happening at 850 PE. So that's again good indication that 850 might be 850 might be a support. If you look at what happened in charts, um, yep. Market, try to protect this 23,850, but it went till 23,800. Okay. Yep. There was also a good amount of uh, writing at 23,800 as well. Okay. Yeah. So we got this again, this confirmation at 3 p.m. But yeah, 23,800. There was good amount of writing happening over here. So looking at this unusual OI heat map, this gives a clear indication of what strikes uh, saw an unusual OI activity. Okay, so imagine when big player is entering, these trades, right? They usually enter with high volume, correct? And that volume you could see over here in this, unusual OI heat map chart. Okay, again, view everything from a seller perspective because seller is the one who moves the market, right? So if there is activity happening within the CE, it means market is bearish. If there is any activity happening within PE, it means market is bullish, right? As you could see, there is activity that happened at both CE as well as PE. But what's really important is to see what exact strikes the movement is happening. Okay. Um, there is also, this premium breakdowns as well. It's really important to see how much of premium is left, right? Okay, so this is a pretty important page to understand um, in which strikes, you have to buy. Okay, so for example, Nifty future is at these levels and Nifty future VWAP is at this level. So looking at the Nifty futures VWAP, the market is clearly bearish. Okay. And if it is bearish, again, you've got these signals, right? Squeeze setup in the sense, this is the strikes that you have to be in order to make good profits as a buyer. Okay. This product has been designed to work for Indian option buyers. Okay. What all the features that you see is focused towards the buyers. Okay. So if you are a buyer, these are the strikes that you have to be in order to, make some profits. Okay. Yeah. One clue that I wanted to give, or one learning that I wanted to give, is that why I did not take a bullish trade in the morning. Okay, so the OI data was bullish. The charts were also bullish. So why I did not take a bullish trade somewhere over here or somewhere over here? Why I did not take is, looking at the futures chart. In the morning it was trading between super trend. This is VWAP and between super trend. So this is a pure no trade zone to me. So I waited till market has breached the 200 EMA, and it also breached this S4 pivot point. Okay. So as soon as it breached everything, there is only one way for market, that is market to fall, right? So that's the conviction that I had. Okay. So that's it, guys. So, this is looking at the charts, right? But if you look at the broader overall Indian market context, right? So there hasn't been great that's been happening in Indian markets. Obviously, there has been news recently that India will see shortage of rainfalls, right? And that would obviously impact the GDP of the country. So that's one important factor. Obviously, there is this AI story that's been happening, right? There, India do not have any great AI native companies, right? So that's where all the funds going out. And that's why, if FIIs have been selling relentlessly from the Indian market. Um, Today, okay, so today, uh, I think South Korean stock market has crashed by 10%, by more than 10%. Okay. Crazy. Okay. Obviously, that impact will be there in the Indian markets. The rupee is sliding further. So there are lots of factors that contributed to today's fall. There has been also news that there won't be any rate cuts in US. Again, if there is any bad news outside of India, that would impact Indian markets negatively. If there is any good news outside of Indian markets might not respond in a positive way. Okay, so that's been the story of Indian market for past couple of years. No returns at all in the Nifty. All right, so going forward, I'll religiously upload daily market analysis. I'll try to explain what could Indian retail traders who are predominantly option buyers could have done, looking at the charts, looking at the OI data. Right. So please subscribe to this channel. Again, as I said, I'll try to be um, more consistent with my daily market analysis. Also, look out for this tradesage.co.in. It's a great product to understand the OI data. It's a great product to execute your trades. Okay, one quick thing before I close today. Guys, do not ever trade using mobile app. Okay. I want you all to make profits, and in order to make profits, at least do trading via a desktop or a laptop. Okay, look at charts, look at OI data, and then place your trades. Okay, I think that is not possible with mobile app if you trade with mobile app. So okay, so yeah, all right, see you tomorrow. Thank you.